I want to say this to you with the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords for me, it is like Minor Arcana version of death, of the Death card, which is your card, right? So it has that similar kind of energy here. But it's all based around either a decision that should have been made or that was made. Not making a decision is also a decision, right? Is also a decision. But let's see what's coming up. So we have the Ace of Cups coming up here. You know what I say when the Ace of Cups comes up? What's in your cup? And the Ace of Cups, it's very much about, it's the potential. It holds the potential for the rest of the suit. But wherever, you know, the aces come up, every cycle begins with us. It begins with us. And so, you know, the Ace of Pentacles, which is what Libra got here, actually interesting. I don't know if that's going to be a trend. Everyone's getting aces as their underlying energies. What they're beginning, starting to do, new cycles. This one begins with how you feel, your own emotional growth, your own spiritual growth, whatever is in your cup, because that's about to get matched, right? That's about to get matched when we take our cup out into the world, whether it's through friends, family members, lovers, work, colleagues, whatever, they match our cup. And so it's very important to have a look at what's in your cup. What's in your cup? Now, the thing though, with the Two of Swords coming up here and the Two of Coins, Two of Pentacles coming up here, that is about decisions. The twos for me is always like two options that we're considering. Two of Wands, right? Two roads. Which one path should we go down? Two of Cups, two cups there merging into one. But here we've got two Pentacles. That's weighing the pros and cons, trying to decide. And I kind of get the sense, is it what's worthy of your cup? Which is amazing. I love that. I love that concept of, I wish more people would do that and figure out that, is this worthy of my love, not, you know, who will accept me, who will take my cup. It's more like, do I want to give my cup to this? Weighing up the pros and cons of that. But there can be this sense of overextending yourself. I'm getting that here with this. Now, I kind of feel like you've got your cup emotionally. Have a look. There's no other cups coming up here. We've got the moon here. It's not so much the problem of where you've been or where you are. That's what the Ace of Cups tells me, because that you've finished with the old cycle. You're ready to start something new emotionally, right? And you see the potential for happiness here, for emotional fulfillment here. I think the sticking point is, well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? If I do this, if I begin this cycle, if I go forward with this, if I plant the seed, then what is going to happen? And I'm saying that because we have the moon coming up here. The moon. Now, the moon is very much a card that talks about you can't really trust anything that you see when the moon comes up. Everything's in shadow. And the only way you can see what's in the shadows is if you walk up to the shadows, shine a light there and have a look and say, okay, well, what's going on here, right? But before that, it takes guts. That's what the moon says. Can you walk this path on faith? Can you walk this shadowy path, trusting your intuition, trusting your dreams, trusting what's in your cup? Because it has meaning to you, emotional meaning to you, and not be based on, well, what will happen to it? What's going to happen to my cup? Is someone going to spill my cup? Is it going to get knocked over? Is someone just going to, that kind of thing. That's what the moon talks about. Now, everything revolves around this moon. Everything revolves around it, because that's at the heart of the reading. So it's central to everything. It's the spoke to this wheel that's turning here. And think about that for a moment. It's a card of illumination, but it illuminates our fears and doubts. And I'm going to say this. I mean, if I was to give you a one line of what this reading is, it's fear of making the wrong decision. It's fear of making the wrong decision. Actually, I think the Libra season challenge for the day that I'm recording this, I haven't recorded it yet, but it's to do around consequences of our decisions that we make and the choices that we make. So you may want to check that out. That'll be up by the time this is up. But yeah, with the Two of Swords in the past, that's last week, last month, last year. And if you have a look here, a decision must be made. But it's a difficult one. It's a very difficult decision to make. First of all, both swords look the same, but two truths can't work. Because, have a look, by keeping both truths there, she's blinding herself. Like, she can't see clearly what's going on. And I kind of feel, even in with the Two of Swords, if you're going by the rational, the reasoning, the points that someone could make, you know, this is this, the pros and cons, because that's the pros and cons here as well. They look identical. There's very similar arguments that can be made for both sides of this. But those swords can't be held up there together. They just can't. A decision must be made with the Two of Swords. It must be made. And the reason the person doesn't want to make the decision, I get it, is because of this. Because in case they get hurt, in case there's loss, in case, you know, you piss someone off and they leave, or you end up losing your job, you know, that kind of thing. So it's difficult. It is difficult when the Two of Swords comes up. Even worse, and it is worse when this happens, even worse, it's you're happy with how things are finally, you know, things are, and it's like, well, why do we have to decide that? Why do I have to decide this now? Why can't we just stay in this situation, right? And so you're trying to use that amazing intuitive being that you are to try to look ahead and see, well, what's coming up? What can I expect from this? Whatever this choice was, there's maybe a new choice that's come in. We've got Pentacles now. It's around your physical reality. So it may be about committing to someone. It may be about doing a job. It may be very similar message to Libras. I will say that. And, you know, when it comes up like that, even if you have nothing in Libra, it may be that flavor or the way the message came out may be more to your situation than what this one is. It's happened before. Usually happens around Capricorn, Aquarius, or Pisces, their energies. It's happening this time for you guys. So I would say that. Now, with the Three of Swords, that's heartache, pain, loss, grief. But it's where we heal from that. It's always a card of healing, the Three of Swords. It's an opportunity to heal, to remove that, to have a look at why were those my truths? Why did I get in that situation? And, you know, a lot of the times those truths that represents, the stories, they come from our childhood. They come from a time, you know, a long time ago. I was talking to my sister actually, and she runs a play center, and she, you know, works with very young children from the age of 4, I don't know until when, but young children. And when she describes, she comes, you know, she'll tell me about what's happened there, or certain issues that happen with the children. And I see us in those kids, the stories that she tells, that, you know, we've grown up with, that's what they become us, you know, the ones that then we have these issues and we're exploring them. We have these stories and we have these hurts. And we have these things that come up. We have that shadow that comes up from there. So it's interesting that comes up. Well, what's coming up here, this, you know, it came up in the elementals. It's been coming up this week from messages that people have been sending me. And it's coming up in my own personal life, and everyone that I know, that it feels like this first week of October feels kind of difficult. But what it's showing you personally is what you're willing to stand up and fight for. That's why that Ace of Cups came up. Because you're emotionally invested in that. That's what counts. That is what counts here. So with the Seven of Wands, have a look at him. He has the higher ground. He has the upper hand. And there's a lot of shit coming at him, and there can be. Seven of Wands is when crap's coming at you from every angle. And you're kind of hurting. That's the thing. You're healing over something that's happened, whatever decision that was, whether it may not even have been your decision. And so now the question comes, and it's very interesting to me because I think Libra got the Five of Swords there. There is a big connection here. And I know some signs don't like me talking about other signs in it, but there is a reason. If that message is coming up, there is a reason for that. There is a reason for that. So as we go through, I'll see if it's a collective message or unique to this. I'll talk about it in the outro, whatever comes up. But with the Seven of Wands, is it worth it? Is it worth defending? Is it worth standing your ground on this? Why would you stand your ground in it? And there's a lot of this kind of decision. Bring up the pros and cons. What do I do? What do I do here? I want to get one more for that. Seven of Wands, Three of Swords. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get one for the moon. That's the better one. Let's get one for the moon. Why is that so murky there in the middle? All right. There is pain and there is loss and there's grief, but I don't feel like it's revealed or it's being shown or whatever. It's almost like, the tears of a clown. It's that, you put on the mask, you put on the whatever, and you're going out there and you're doing what needs to be done. The day to day, dropping the kids to school, whatever. But there is a deep, a decision that, I'm going to say again, a decision that was not made. That is also a decision, not making a decision, a choice, right? Or it was made and there's some consequences that are coming up around it. But you got the 5 of Cups here. That is regret, loss, missed opportunities. And it's going to be very easy for me to say what I'm saying. And I know it's not that easy, especially when you're hurting. I get it. If you're hurting, I understand. And especially for those of you that are hurting and you feel like you have to. I mean, we have to, right? Think about it. I've had some life-changing stuff happen for me this week. But, we have to carry on. There's life to live. I'd love to curl up in a ball sometimes, you know what I mean? But it's not possible. We can take care of ourselves. And sometimes self-care comes through the action that we take. It doesn't always have to be retreating and hiding, doing that kind of thing. For you, if there's been loss or regret or missed opportunities or, a focus on what's not there, that's now led to this fear. Well, because that didn't work out, you don't even know which way to go now with the moon there, right? And there's hurt and pain. Both of them talk about that. Then the 7 of Wands is saying, well, what would put that pep in your step? What is worth fighting for? What is worth defending? What is yours? And you'll say, no one's getting this. I hope it's your cup, your happiness, how you feel, your spiritual growth. Because once you decide that, bloody hell, Scorpio, once you decide that this is what I'm ready to defend, this is what I'm going to stand up for, this is worth defending and worth fighting for, what do you get? You get the Knight of Swords in the future. And he takes action based on his beliefs. He comes out gunning. Comes out swinging. He's going to say his piece. Look at his determined little face there. And that's you. If you haven't known what to say, the moon can indicate secrets, not nefarious lying. It's not the 7 of Swords or any of that. It's in the shadows. Everything's in shadows. You don't know what to reveal. You don't know who to trust to reveal it to. You don't even know the lay of the land properly because it's all in shadows. And so you may have had to make a decision without all of the facts. But something gets cleared up with that Knight of Swords. But only when you figure out, is it worth fighting for or not? You must decide that. And that comes from your Ace of Cups. If you could, things like, well, I can't be bothered. I just can't be bothered. I could deal with this. I had a similar moment yesterday, actually. I could deal with this, but can I be bothered? No. It doesn't bring anything to my life. Life is too short. I don't want to deal with this. I want to go do something else. It may be that. Because, you've gone through enough. But I feel like it's a different way of doing it. A different way of dealing with pain and hurt. There is a conversation here with that Knight of Swords. Conversation here. So if this is something that's happened and it feels unfixable, it's fixable. Excuse me. Right, there's conversations here. I kind of feel, and either you've had to make that decision by yourself, you've been trying to figure out what to do around this. There's a very lonely energy here. Now, emotionally, you're good though. Ace of Cups, I like this. Please, let's not, this is beautiful energy and it's the emotional potential that we see. And I always give this example of how we get from A to B, right? You see the emotional value of B, of getting to B, of taking the steps, the journey to get to B. But it's more the how, and is it worth it getting there? But what's in your cup will tell you that. How much it calls to you emotionally, how much it makes you happy, how much your emotional worth that you put into it. But yeah, a lot of loss. And that might be it, that, because, last time I did something like this, there was a lot of loss. But this kind of feels fresh. That, there's still things missing. There's still regret here. That is defensive energy, but what are you defending? And, there's a kind of wounded animal aspect to this with the 3 of Swords. If you're wounded, if you're hurting, right? And then if someone comes at you, you're going to come out swinging even harder because you're wounded. You're wounded. Now, the Knight of Swords, fast moving, goes direct, going to go and speak his truth. And neither of these two have tact. I'll say that. They're not very tactful. Not very tactful. But is this something that should have been said ages ago, but it wasn't said? It wasn't said because we've been trying to keep the peace, keep the balance. Or there wasn't a point to saying it and stuff. But now things have gotten to a point where there's nothing left to lose almost. Because, you know, if we've already had losses, there's nothing left to lose around this. And misunderstandings can be cleared up. There can be like reconciling of differences. It doesn't, trust me on that, it doesn't mean getting back with it. I'm not saying any of that. This is more about this. It's more around the truth that was not said. Because it's almost like I can't go forward and have my emotional happiness until I clear this up. It must be cleared up in some way. Now, whether it's with that person or people, it doesn't have to be. We can go have this conversation with someone else. You know, that's what my Just Talk sessions, a lot of people sometimes book to talk about things, to clear it up within themselves. Or we've got, you know, tarot readings that people get, or therapists, or talking to your best friend, or, you know, whoever, someone that you trust. But it's almost like having that conversation helps you to clear it up. Because you see it in a different way now. And that's okay. That's okay. You know, we can't always make a decision. We don't always have all the details to make a decision or to make the best decisions possible. And when other things come to light, then afterwards, there's too much missing here. There's too much not available here. Yeah, we can see the emotional potential in something, but there's just so much that's not being revealed, especially with that moon there. It's casting a shadow over everything, right? Like, why did that happen? And why did this happen? The only whys that we can truly answer are why we want to do what we want to do. And that's that. Is it worth it to me to keep fighting this or to be defensive around this? But yeah, conversation, direct, and being brutally honest with yourself with that Page of Swords. But it's clearing up misunderstandings. Let's see why that Page of Coins is coming up as the advice. The Page of Coins, I see the Page of Coins as a student, and it can be a token, you know, that represents something bigger. So that's why I say it's the engagement ring that is a token for marriage, or, you know, or a contract that is that is the token that represents the home or the long-term job or the career. Do you see what I mean? But at this point, it's paying attention to the details, and it can be a little repetitive, and it can be doing the same thing again and again, but trying to get it right. But it's starting off